Today, we dive into a shocking twist from the world of extreme sports and elite competition. An ex-Olympic snowboarder, once celebrated for daring runs and medal-winning performances, now faces a federal indictment accusing them of orchestrating a murder. The contrast between public triumph and alleged criminal plotting has sent shockwaves through both sports fans and the media, making this one of the most explosive stories in recent memory. Patrick Beverley's tough guy image just snapped. Now he's facing a felony assault allegation that has fans questioning everything they thought they knew about him. Bold move. The guy who built a brand on being the toughest guard in the league is now accused of something quieter, darker. Then the arrest. He's locked up in Fort Bend County, Texas, on a felony charge labeled assault of a family or household member, impeding breathing or circulation. The sheriff's office lists the charge. Bail set at $40,000. The arrest hit fast. Beverley was booked in Fort Bend County on a felony charge tied to assaulting a family member and allegedly cutting off their breathing. The paperwork didn't bother with nuance, just a stark accusation that turned a routine night into a headline blast. Reports show he posted bond, but the charge alone was enough to ignite a wave of disbelief around a player long known for pushing limits only on the court. But that's not all. Inside the affidavit spilled out the worst. His sister, just 15, alleges she returned home after midnight with an 18-year-old boyfriend. What followed? She claims he grabbed her by the neck with both hands, lifted her off the ground, squeezed so she couldn't breathe for 20 to 30 seconds, slammed her body into walls, laid her down on a couch, and punched her in the eye. She says he threatened to kill her. The claims landed like a gut punch. Reports say his 15-year-old sister told officers he grabbed her by the neck, lifted her, and squeezed hard enough that she couldn't breathe. She says he drove her into a wall, dropped her onto a couch, and hit her in the eye. The affidavit even notes she feared he might actually follow through on a threat to end her. These are her words in the report. Heavy, graphic, and already fueling a storm of online speculation. Then it got even wilder. Beverley's response is firmly defensive. His attorney says the document is emotionally charged and one-sided. He admits concern when finding his minor sister alone with an older male, but we don't believe what followed happened the way it's been described. He posts on social media, "Please don't believe everything you see on the internet." His camp rejects the narrative outright. His attorney calls the affidavit skewed and says the sequence is missing context. Their version frames Beverley as a protective brother who walked in on a minor sibling alone with an older guy and reacted out of alarm, not rage. They insist the physical claims are exaggerated, the timelines distorted, and the intent misread. The message from his side is simple. The public is seeing a snapshot, not the full event. Next angle, his lifestyle. Remember the player who scrapped on court, trash-talked big names, and dug in defensively? Afterwards, he pivoted to podcasting with Barstool Sports and comment culture. But these recent headlines clash with the persona he sold. He's built recent relevance off being loud, brash, fearless. Now he's being hauled into a scenario that demands silence and seriousness. Off the court, Beverley spent the last few years reshaping himself into a media character. Loud takes, viral clips, fashion flexes, and a podcast persona built on attitude. That brand thrived on controlled chaos, the kind he could turn on and off. But this situation drags him into a different kind of spotlight, one he can't joke through or debate away. The contrast is jarring. A man who curated a brash, unfiltered identity, suddenly standing in the middle of a real-life crisis that doesn't fit the swagger he's been selling. Legal stakes. In Texas, choking or impeding breathing in a family violence context upgrades to a third-degree felony. That means 2 to 10 years behind bars if convicted. Bond already paid. The public eye is weighing in. Fans are divided between protective brother narratives and violent assault fears. His media career might get collateral damage. A third-degree felony in Texas isn't theater. It carries the possibility of years locked away, and that reality shifted the tone online fast. Court docs set his bond, but the bigger fallout came from fans dissecting every rumor and every leaked detail. Some tried painting him as an overzealous brother. Others saw the affidavit and stopped giving him the benefit of the doubt. The split reaction hardened quickly, and his media presence, once a source of leverage, became a liability as every old clip, rant, and outburst resurfaced as evidence in the court of public opinion. The image fracture is complete. Beverley's persona, built on grit, swagger, and on-court intimidation, collides with a family assault allegation that demands sober scrutiny. Whether cleared or convicted, the headlines alone have rewritten the story, turning the former NBA pest into a polarizing figure whose off-court actions now define him as much as his career ever did. Conclusion: this isn't just another sports scandal. It's the moment the tough guy mask meets serious family violence realities. Whether he's cleared or not, the image fracture has happened. And backstage, the world keeps watching because the man who once made headlines for on-court grit now does so for off-court crisis. On the other side, an ex-Olympic snowboarder, once celebrated for speed, precision, and medals, is now accused of orchestrating a murder, turning a legacy of triumph into a headline of terror. The world once knew him as an Olympic snowboarder, carving powder, pushing through icy winds, standing on a podium with nothing but ambition and a board under his feet. But that glory feels like it was lived by someone else. Now, Ryan Wedding is making headlines not for athletic triumph, but for an indictment that reaches deep into crime, betrayal, and murder. The indictment dropped like a bomb. Federal authorities allege the ex-Olympian masterminded a murder to protect a sprawling drug trafficking operation. Official filings detail timing, coordination, and the international scope of the alleged crimes, painting a stark contrast to the clean, disciplined image fans once admired. Reports confirm he's facing multiple counts, each carrying severe prison time if convicted. The courtroom isn't just a legal arena. It's the stage where his entire public persona begins to unravel. It started with whispers, a former athlete clean-cut, now allegedly running a sprawling drug trafficking empire. Authorities say Wedding's operation moved cocaine in staggering quantities, about 60 tons a year. Those aren't whispers, they call it a transnational criminal enterprise, and they've tied him to Mexico, Colombia, Canada, and the US. The charges are chilling. Prosecutors claim the snowboarder targeted a key witness who could testify against him, allegedly posting identifying photos online and orchestrating surveillance that led to the victim's murder in Colombia. Witness testimony and intercepted communications reportedly tie him to planning and directing the act, showing a level of premeditation that contrasts sharply with his former image as a disciplined athlete. The indictment also references accomplices and cross-border coordination, emphasizing the global scale of the alleged operation. Then came the most chilling part, the charge that Wedding orchestrated a murder. According to a federal indictment, a witness who could testify against him was targeted in Medellin, Colombia, and authorities claim he directed that killing. The motive, prosecutors say, was clear: keep the threat of extradition at bay. His legal team pushes back hard. They describe the indictment as exaggerated, arguing that key details are taken out of context. Statements frame him as a former athlete whose reputation is being attacked by speculation and incomplete evidence. His attorneys insist he had no intent to commit murder, portraying him as cooperative and willing to clarify his side in court. The defense emphasizes that much of what's being reported online and in media leaks does not reflect the full story. They didn't just call him a name, they put a bounty on the witness's head. The Wedding allegedly posted identifying images on a Canadian website, making the target vulnerable. Before the allegations, he was a symbol of precision and daring on the slopes, an Olympian celebrated for speed, skill, and fearless runs. Sponsorships, interviews, and public appearances painted him as disciplined and adventurous. That life of accolades and media attention now collides violently with the criminal charges, contrasting past fame and present danger, impossible to ignore. Fans and commentators are scrambling to reconcile the image of a champion with the shadow of alleged international criminal activity. The legal stakes are massive. Federal murder and drug trafficking charges carry decades in prison, with potential life sentences for orchestrating killings. Public reaction is polarized. Some can't reconcile an Olympian with a criminal mastermind. Others question how much of his private life was ever visible. Social media and news outlets amplify every allegation, dissecting past interviews, sponsorship deals, and Olympic footage for hints of hidden behavior. The combination of severe legal consequences and global media scrutiny makes this case a high-stakes spectacle. The next move: the person was followed into a restaurant and murdered. Law enforcement isn't taking this lightly. The U.S. State Department and FBI have placed Wedding on their 10 most wanted list. Tension stretches back years. Insider reports suggest a pattern of secretive behavior, unexplained wealth, and shadowy international contacts. Past rivalries on the circuit, intense competition, and high-stakes sponsorship pressures may have shaped a private life that few fully understood. Alleged connections to criminal networks are now surfacing, reframing old anecdotes and rumors in a new, darker light. The narrative of a disciplined athlete is cracking, revealing a complex web behind the medals and podiums. They're offering a multi-million-dollar reward, up to $10 million, and in some reports, $15 million for information leading to his capture. He's also allegedly moving under the protection of the Sinaloa cartel. His alias is read like something out of a crime novel. El Jeef, Public Enemy, James Conrad King. Prosecutors describe him as the brain behind a violent operation that used long-haul semi-trucks to shuttle cocaine across international borders. His alleged right-hand man, Andrew the Dictator Clark, is already in U.S. custody, added to the sprawling list of co-conspirators accused of murder and trafficking. But who was he before all of this? Weddings once were a different life entirely. An Olympian representing Canada in the 2002 Winter Olympic Games, racing in the parallel giant slalom. That twist, from elite athlete to alleged kingpin, makes his case all the more surreal. In court filings, prosecutors allege multiple murders tied to his trafficking network. Not just the witness killing, but homicides in Canada, all in service of protecting his empire. On the other side, the scale of violence tied to his alleged network is being presented as systematic and cold-blooded. As the public absorbs the shock, reactions are already polarizing. Some can't square the image of a snowboarder, a symbol of purity, speed, and grace, with the ruthless leader of a criminal organization. Others see this as the inevitable fall of someone who never belonged in the shadows. The reward money, the cartel connections, the murders, it's all part of a story that feels too big for one man, yet authorities are zeroing in like this is personal. The legacy he once built on snow and speed now fractures. Olympic clips and past interviews are resurfacing not to celebrate but to question. How much did anyone really know about him behind closed doors? How clean was that career? In that way, Ryan Wedding is the kind of enigma that doesn't stay in one box. Olympian, trafficker, fugitive. His story forces a reckoning, not just with the man himself, but with what happens when a celebrated athlete becomes a criminal mastermind. When his name was cheered from the mountain slopes, no one was imagining a fugitive warlord. Now that stage is gone. All that's left is a global manhunt, a $10 to $15 million price on his head, and a legacy that might never recover. From Olympic glory to federal indictment, the story of this snowboarder is a stark pivot from triumph to infamy. Medals and accolades now sit beside allegations of murder and international crime. Whether proven guilty or not, his legacy is fractured, forcing the world to see him less as an athlete and more as a fugitive figure whose past achievements are forever overshadowed by the severity of the charges. Those are the latest explosive updates from the worlds of elite sports and celebrity controversy. Hit like if you were shocked, share this with your friends to spread the news, and make sure to subscribe to ctrl+style for all the hottest athlete gossip, scandals, and lifestyle updates. Don't miss out. Those are the latest explosive updates from the worlds of elite sports and celebrity controversy. Hit like if you were shocked, share this with your friends to spread the news, and make sure to subscribe to ctrl+style for all the hottest athlete gossip, scandals, and lifestyle updates. Don't miss out.